This is not a one-season investment. This is a long-term food source that keeps paying you back year after year. There is also something people do not talk about enough with blueberries: the fall display. When the season ends and temperatures drop, blueberry foliage turns a deep, vivid crimson red. Your neighbors will stop and ask what that stunning plant is. It is ornamental and edible at the same time, which is one of the most underrated combinations in all of container gardening. And the mobility matters more with blueberries than almost any other plant on this list. If one spot on your porch gets too much afternoon heat, you roll the container to a shadier spot. If a late frost threatens new spring growth, you move it against the wall for protection. That flexibility is something no in-ground planting can give you. Tree 9. Dwarf Cherry. Cherries are consistently one of the highest-priced fruits in the American market. At peak season, they run $8 to $12 per pound at most grocery stores. Off-season, when they are imported, the price goes even higher. And yet they are one of the most satisfying and practical fruits you can grow in a container, for one reason that most people never consider until they have already lost a harvest: birds. A cherry tree in the ground, even a dwarf one, is extremely difficult to net effectively. The branches spread, the tree is tall. Getting protective netting over it evenly is a frustrating, time-consuming process that most people give up on. And then one morning you walk outside and the birds have taken every ripe cherry overnight. It happens in hours, sometimes less. A cherry tree in a container changes that situation completely. You can throw bird netting over a potted cherry tree in under 10 minutes. It sits cleanly over the container. The tree is manageable. Your harvest is protected. That single practical advantage makes container growing genuinely superior to in-ground growing for cherries in most American backyards. Look for Romeo, Juliet, or Carmine Jewel. These are tart cherry varieties, and they're among the coldest hardy fruit trees available to American growers, performing well in zones 3 through 8. If you're in the upper Midwest, New England, or anywhere that sees serious winters, these varieties handle that without complaint. One mature container cherry tree produces 10 to 20 pounds of fruit per season. At $10 per pound average, that is $100 to $200 worth of cherries every year from one pot. And tart cherries are not just for eating fresh. They are outstanding for baking, for making preserves, for juicing, and for freezing. Your harvest stretches across months, not just the fresh eating window. Tart cherries have significantly higher antioxidant levels than sweet cherries. They've been studied specifically for their anti-inflammatory properties. So beyond the flavor and the savings, you are growing something that genuinely supports your health. That is a combination worth paying attention to. And every spring, before a single cherry appears, your container tree covers itself in clouds of white and pink blossoms. It is one of the most beautiful sights in any garden. You are getting an ornamental display and a productive harvest from the same plant in the same pot. Tree 8. Meyer Lemon. There is no other fruit tree on this list, or arguably in all of container gardening, that does what a Meyer lemon does. While every other tree on this list has a season, Meyer lemons do not follow that rule. They are ever-bearing. That means at any given moment, a healthy Meyer lemon tree is carrying flowers, developing fruit, and fully ripe lemons simultaneously. You're not waiting for a season, you are harvesting year-round. Look specifically for the improved Meyer lemon variety. That word improved matters. The original Meyer lemon carried a virus that could spread to other citrus. The improved version is virus-free and the one you want. It is widely available and it is the standard for container citrus growing across the country. In terms of container size, a 10 to 15-gallon pot handles this tree well. If you are in zones 9 through 11, it lives outside year-round with no intervention. If you are in zones 6 through 8, and that covers an enormous portion of the American population, you grow it outside from spring through fall and bring it indoors to a bright, sunny window for winter. The tree handles that transition well and continues producing even indoors with sufficient light. One established Meyer lemon tree produces 50 to 200 lemons per year, depending on its age and care. Organic lemons at most American grocery stores right now are $1 to $2 each. Even at the conservative end, 50 lemons at $1 each, that is $50 in savings per year from one pot. At full production, that number climbs well past $150 to $200 annually. Now, here is something I want to be straight with you about because there is a lot of misleading information out there on this. You do not need expensive specialty citrus fertilizer. It is largely unnecessary and overpriced. A balanced, slow-release granular fertilizer handles the core nutritional needs. Add a monthly Epsom salt solution, 1 tablespoon per gallon of water, to provide magnesium, which citrus uses heavily. That combination costs a few dollars per year, and it is genuinely all this tree needs to thrive and produce. And one more thing about Meyer lemons that nobody talks about enough. When this tree blooms, and it blooms repeatedly throughout the year, the fragrance it releases is extraordinary. Your entire porch or patio fills with a scent that most people pay significant money to replicate artificially in candles and diffusers. You get it for free, naturally, from your own tree, multiple times a year. How much are you spending on lemons every single month? Be honest, put the real number in the comments. I genuinely want to see it, because I think most people have no idea how much that small recurring cost adds up to over a year. And while you are down there in the comments, if you are watching this and you have not subscribed yet, I want you to think about this carefully. You've watched this far. You are clearly serious about growing your own food and spending less money doing it. This channel puts out a new video every single week built entirely around that goal. Subscribing costs you nothing. Missing the next video costs you information you could have used. Hit the button, turn on the bell. Do not let the next one go by without you. Tree 7. Kumquat. Most people walk past kumquat trees at the nursery without a second look. They do not know what it is, they do not know what it produces, and that is honestly one of the most expensive mistakes a container gardener can make, because the kumquat is quietly one of the most productive, most cold-tolerant, most low-maintenance fruiting trees available to American growers today, and almost nobody is talking about it. Here is what makes it different from everything else on this list. You eat the whole fruit, skin and all. And here is the part that surprises everyone the first time. The skin is sweet and the flesh is tart. It is the complete opposite of every other citrus fruit you have ever eaten. That combination is unlike anything you'll find in a grocery store, because kumquats do not ship or store well commercially, which means the only way most Americans ever taste truly fresh kumquat is if they grow one themselves. Look for Nagami or Meiwa varieties. Both perform exceptionally well in containers. Both are self-pollinating. You need one tree, that is it. Container size. 10 to 15 gallons handles this tree comfortably. For zones, kumquats are outdoor year-round trees in zones 8 through 11. But here is the fact that separates kumquats from every other citrus on this list. They are the most cold-tolerant citrus trees in existence. A kumquat handles brief temperature dips down to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. No other citrus comes close to that, which means people in Zone 7, covering large portions of Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, can grow kumquats with minimal winter protection in a container against a south-facing wall. A mature container kumquat does not produce a handful of fruit, it produces hundreds. The branches load up so heavily with small orange fruits that the tree looks almost decorative, like something designed to be beautiful. But it is not decorative. It is producing the equivalent of $150 to $300 worth of fruit per season at farmers market prices, where kumquats sell for $6 to $10 per small carton, when you can even find them. And when this tree blooms, which it does heavily, your entire porch smells like a citrus grove. Not faintly, strongly, for weeks at a time. People will walk up to your porch just to ask what that smell is. This is the tree I personally think is the most underrated on this entire list, and I want to know if you agree. Drop a comment right now and tell me, had you ever seriously considered growing a kumquat before watching this video? I want to see how many people this surprises. Tree 6. Columnar Apple. A columnar apple tree grows straight up, 8 to 10 feet tall, 2 feet wide. It has almost no lateral branches. Instead, it produces short fruiting spurs directly off the central trunk, and those spurs carry full-sized apples. Not miniature apples, not decorative fruit, real apples, crisp, juicy, and flavorful, from a tree that takes up the footprint of a large coffee can. Look for North Pole, Scarlet Sentinel, or Golden Sentinel. These are the varieties with the most consistent track record in containers. They perform well in zones 4 through 8, which covers the majority of apple-growing America. Apples are running $2.50 to $4 per pound at most American grocery stores right now. But here's what separates apples from most other fruit on this list. Storage. A properly stored apple lasts months. Harvest in September and October, keep them in a cool, dark space, and you are eating your own apples through December and into January. When you factor that extended value into the savings calculation, 3 columnar apple trees on your porch are producing $160 to $320 worth of fruit that carries you through nearly half the year. And the management advantage in a container is real. You can inspect every inch of a 2-foot wide tree in minutes. You catch pest problems early. You see disease before it spreads. You spray accurately and efficiently. Compare that to a full-sized apple tree in the ground, where the top branches are completely out of reach and out of sight until the problem has already spread everywhere. Tree 5. Dwarf Mulberry. If you have never grown a mulberry, I want you to pay close attention to this one, because the mulberry is one of the best-kept secrets in American home food growing, and it deserves far more attention than it gets. Here is what most people do not know. Mulberries are among the fastest fruiting trees available to home growers. Some container mulberry trees begin producing in their very first or second year. Nothing else on this list moves that quickly from planting to harvest. If you are someone who has felt frustrated waiting years for fruit trees to produce, the mulberry solves that problem faster than anything else I can recommend. Look for dwarf everbearing or Illinois everbearing. Both are well suited for container growing. Both are cold hardy. Illinois everbearing performs well in zones 5 through 10, covering an enormous range of American climates from the upper Midwest all the way through the deep South. Container size, 20 to 25 gallons, gives this tree the root space it needs to produce heavily, and produce heavily it does. Mulberries do not give you a modest harvest. They give you so much fruit that the challenge shifts from waiting for fruit to keeping up with the harvest. The production level on a mature container mulberry is remarkable. Fresh mulberries almost never appear in standard American grocery stores. The fruit is too delicate to survive commercial shipping. When they do appear at farmers markets, they sell for $8 to $12 per pint because supply is extremely limited. Your container mulberry tree makes you the only source on your street. You can eat them fresh, freeze them, make preserves, bake with them, or juice them. Every option is open to you. And birds love mulberries intensely, even more than cherries. Container growing solves this the same way it did for cherries. Netting a potted tree takes minutes. Protecting your harvest is straightforward and simple in a way that is completely impossible with a large in-ground tree. Tree 4. Dwarf Avocado. This is the one I teased at the beginning of this video, the one your local nursery hopes you never find out about. And I want to explain exactly why I said that. Avocado trees are one of the highest margin products nurseries and grocery stores both profit from heavily. At the store, avocados are $5 to $8 each in most American markets right now. That price is not coming down. And nurseries sell avocado trees with the quiet assumption that most home growers will not successfully fruit them, that they will buy the tree, struggle with it, give up, and come back to buy something else. A dwarf avocado in the right container, with the right soil, with the right drainage, fruits reliably. And when it does, the math is staggering. Look specifically for the Wurtz variety, also sold under the name Little Cato. It is the only true dwarf avocado widely available to American consumers. It stays 8 to 10 feet tall in a container. It is self-pollinating. You do not need a second tree. And it produces full-sized avocados that are indistinguishable in quality from anything you would buy at the store. Container size, 20 to 25 gallons minimum. This tree needs room. Do not compromise on container size with an avocado. In terms of zones, year-round outdoor growing in zones 9 through 11. In zones 7 and 8, grow it outside from April through October and move it indoors to a warm, bright space for winter. The container makes that possible for millions of Americans who live in climates that would otherwise make avocado growing impossible. This tree takes 3 to 4 years before it fruits significantly. I am not going to pretend otherwise, but I want you to think about this carefully. Are you going to be buying avocados 4 years from now? Almost certainly, yes. The tree is already growing somewhere. It might as well be growing in your pot, working toward paying you back, instead of sitting in a nursery making someone else money. Once it fruits, 20 to 40 avocados per year. At $6 average per fruit, that is $120 to $240 worth of avocados annually, every year, for 20 or more years from one pot. That is a conservative lifetime value of $2,400 to $4,800 from a single container tree. No financial advisor is offering you that return on a free investment. Drainage is the single most critical factor with avocados in containers. Mix 30% perlite into your potting soil before planting. Avocado roots suffocate in waterlogged soil faster than almost any other tree on this list. Get the drainage right from day one, and this tree will reward you for decades. Now I have to stop here and be completely honest with you about something. If you have watched this far and you are still not subscribed to this channel, I genuinely do not understand what you are waiting for. This is free information, built specifically for Americans who want to grow real food, spend less money, and stop being completely dependent on a grocery system that raises prices every single month. Subscribing takes 3 seconds, it costs you nothing, and it means you will not miss a single video going forward. Hit that button right now, and tell me in the comments, avocado toast, guacamole, or straight off the tree with a little salt. I want to see the debate play out down there. Tree 3. Ever-bearing Strawberry Tower. I know what you're thinking. Strawberries are not trees. You're right, they are not. But if I left this off the list, I would be doing you a genuine disservice. Because nothing on this list, not the fig, not the lemon, not the cherry, produces food as consistently, as quickly, and as continuously as a properly set up ever-bearing strawberry tower. Here's the reality. From late spring through the first frost of fall, a strawberry tower is producing fruit, not weekly, daily at peak season. You walk out in the morning and you are picking berries. You walk out in the evening and there are more ready. That rhythm of daily fresh food from your own porch is something that fundamentally changes how you think about growing your own food. Look for Seascape, Albion, or Ozark Beauty. All three are ever-bearing varieties. All three are proven performers across a wide range of American climates, covering zones 3 through 10. Ozark Beauty in particular is a reliable choice for growers in the Midwest and Upper South who deal with temperature swings. Set up a vertical strawberry tower, widely available online and at garden centers, and you fit 20 to 30 plants in the footprint of a single pot, 2 square feet of porch space. At peak season, that tower produces several pounds of berries per week. Organic strawberries at the grocery store are $5 to $7 per pound right now. Even a modest harvest across a full growing season, from spring through October, produces $150 to $300 worth of fruit from something that costs less than $40 to set up initially. Strawberry plants send out runners, long stems that produce new baby plants at the tips. You pot those runners up, let them establish, and replace your older plants as they age out. Your tower essentially replenishes itself at zero cost. After the initial setup, your ongoing investment is nearly nothing. The flavor difference is not subtle. A strawberry picked at full ripeness and eaten within the hour is a completely different fruit from what sits in a plastic container at the grocery store. Once you eat a homegrown strawberry at peak ripeness, going back to store-bought feels like a genuine loss. That is not an exaggeration. Ask anyone who has grown them.
Tree 2. Dwarf Banana. Every time someone sees a banana plant on an American porch, they assume it is purely decorative, a tropical accent plant, something to make the patio look interesting. And that assumption costs them something real, because a dwarf banana plant in the right container is one of the most productive food sources you can grow at home. Look for dwarf Cavendish or super dwarf Cavendish. The super dwarf stays between 4 and 6 feet tall in a container, completely manageable on any porch or patio. It produces the same bananas you buy at the grocery store, not a wild variety, not an exotic novelty. The actual Cavendish banana that represents the majority of commercial banana sales in the United States. Container size, 20 to 25 gallons. These plants are heavy feeders, and they need rich, consistently moist soil.